Welcome to another episode of 7 Questions. This episode is all about my capsule wardrobe and the process. If you're not familiar with this series, how it works is once a month on Instagram, I will ask you guys for your questions about a specific topic, and then I pick 7 of them to answer. She wants to hang. So this month is all about capsule wardrobes, and that is because I just launched my capsule wardrobe e-course. So if you're interested in that, so many of you guys have already signed up who are part of my newsletter. I will have a link in the description below to my capsule wardrobe course. It's a 6-step process. It's a whole video series with a workbook, but it's all self-paced, so you can start it whenever you would like to start a capsule wardrobe and then go through the process at your own pace. And I go through each one of the 6 steps, and then each step has a page in the workbook to work through so that you can really go through the process fully through the whole capsule method that I created. There will also be a discount code in the description bar if you're interested in signing up for the class. But let's get into these questions. June's back. Question number 1. What do you do if you hardly own any clothes and can't build from what I already have and don't have a budget for buying lots of new stuff? I watch a lot of your videos, but everyone seems to have so much clothes when they start. That's a really good question. I think it's something that a lot of people maybe struggle with or like intimidated by in the capsule process. And I think this comes down to like the idea of perfection, having a perfect capsule. And that was something that I totally struggled with the first capsule that I made, is I was wanting it to be perfect. And funny enough, I bought stuff in that whole building up to the capsule that I didn't really wear very much in the idea of making it perfect. And I had a really big capsule. I think I had like 45 pieces or something like that. And for the capsule, kind of community, that is a large capsule. But I personally don't believe in like numbers when it comes to a capsule, just to get what works for you. And I think as you go through the process, you'll kind of find your sweet spot in a number. So I shy away from suggesting a specific number for people's capsules, because honestly it's so different based on your lifestyle and climate and things like that. My suggestion for if you don't feel like you have a lot of things to start a capsule with and don't have a very big budget, 1, you'll be really surprised by how few things you actually need in your capsule. Like I said, I had like 45 pieces, and I think I went my next capsule was down to like 30 pieces because I was like, whoa, I had a ton of stuff I didn't even touch one time through my whole spring season. Was that the first capsule I had. She has been really wanting to cuddle lately because it's so cold out right now. She just like literally wants to sit on my lap and use me as like a heated blanket. If you don't have a very big budget for your first capsule, that's totally okay. What I would recommend is buying things secondhand. You can usually save a ton of money buying things secondhand, whether it's like at your local thrift store or places online. I like to use Poshmark just because I made an account there and it's just easy. In my capsule class, I'm probably going to reference it like a handful of times through this video, but I talk about kind of the difference between wants and needs in a capsule, and going after your needs first and investing in those. So if you have a very small budget but you have no real options for maybe denim, maybe you buy, put a little extra money into getting a really good pair of denim, and then go to the thrift store and get a couple of pieces that will kind of help round out your capsule. When you're buying things secondhand, try to... Did you just bite me? You look like a real sass in this video. Okay, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. She just like, I don't know. She does this sometimes when I'm on the phone with people, but maybe she doesn't want me to film a YouTube video today. When you're buying clothes secondhand, buy things that are in neutral colors. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. I kicked Juno because she was being a brat. She's a spoiled cat, and she's got a lot of sass being a calico. Anyways, back to what I was talking about the budget. This is kind of a long, rambly answer. I'm sorry, it's right off the gate. But just buy things that are in your budget, maybe secondhand is a great place to start. Invest in like one key thing that you know you'll get a lot of wear out, like denim, things that are of that nature if you don't already have them. And don't worry about having a big capsule or having a bunch of pieces. You'll be super surprised how small of a wardrobe you'll actually need once you start to get the pieces that make sense and to kind of all fit together and fit your style and lifestyle. Second question, why did you start a capsule wardrobe? I started my capsule wardrobe for a couple of reasons. I felt like my wardrobe was like full. I had a lot of stuff in my closet, a lot less than I had a couple of years ago. So I felt like I had downsized a bunch and like had minimized my closet, but I still felt like I had a bunch of stuff that didn't really work for me and didn't really fit my style. So I didn't really wear them. And I found that I had this closet that was full, not crazy out of control, but like definitely a large closet. And I still only wore like a handful of pieces in there because so much of the stuff I didn't really like or it didn't fit me, or I don't know, I got it on sale. That was like a big thing, eye opener for me, is I used to buy a crap ton of stuff on sale at like J. Crew and Banana or something like that, and I would never wear them because I don't know, I settled on something that was because it was cheap. So that was something that I really wanted to get away from in this capsule process, and I wanted to be better at buying clothes and making a more curated closet and keeping it to like a minimum, like size-wise. Through this whole process, oh my god, it's like night and day difference how I would have purchased, say, a year ago, because it's been about a year since going through this whole capsule journey, and I am such a better purchaser of products or like clothing items. I really take my time, I get exactly what I need, and I won't settle on something until I find the right piece. And that's okay if it takes me a couple of months to find that perfect pair of denim jeans. It's totally worth the wait than clogging my closet full of almost there, maybe sale items, or I just got frustrated and just like wanted a new pair of jeans, or I just wanted a cute new dress or something like that. I don't do that anymore, and it is really, really nice. I probably save money doing that, but I also now try and spend a bit more to get the actual item that I need, where I will buy something full price if it's perfect versus getting something on sale when it's like, well, that's pretty close to what I wanted. So purpose for me was to, you know, buy less junk, make it so that my closet really fit my lifestyle and aesthetic, and that it was just more cohesive and all went together instead of too many like trendy pieces, so that it was, I don't know, just had a bit more longevity. And I wanted to have a smaller wardrobe, and I wanted to be a better like purchaser of items. So long-winded answer to why I started my first capsule. Also, I feel like I'm out of breath holding this camera. Pregnancy really does a number to you. So if I sound out of breath, that's why. All right, I'm gonna sit down now, fella. Okay. Question number 3, or like series of questions number 3, all kind of goes around budget. It says, do you have a spending budget? When do you buy clothes for the capsule, seasonally or sporadically? This is another thing I touch on in my capsule class, is my budget, I don't really have a set budget, but I do try and like look at my budget monthly and see what I want to put aside essentially, or will budget for clothing items. I don't know, it really varies. It depends on what I actually need, and then maybe what's happening in my life. If I have like, you know, if we're doing house projects, I'm probably not gonna spend that much money on clothes because we gotta spend the money on the actual house project that we're working on. But if I have a little bit extra and actually need some stuff, then I will maybe amp up my budget a little bit. When I first started a capsule, I did it the more traditional way, where you don't purchase for like 3 months, and I think I did that the first 2 capsules that way. Because another reason was I just kind of wanted to like rein in my spending and make sure I was spending my money on things that I actually liked and cared about for my capsule. So I did the more traditional method where you don't spend for the like 3 months or the season of your capsule. And I found that really, really difficult in the sense of A, like breaking the habit of shopping for me. And then B, it was really, really hard for me to find the items that I actually needed for that upcoming capsule when I would give myself like a window of time where it was like maybe a week or two to purchase everything for the next, or not everything, but the few items that I needed for my next capsule. I just never really felt like I could like find what I was looking for, and then like the window of time would pass and I'd like feel the pressure to have made my capsule by then, and I didn't have the items that I wanted yet or needed for my upcoming capsule. So I changed my process, and this is going to be a total personal preference for everybody. It's absolutely up to you. If one of the reasons you are doing a capsule is budget reasons, then do the no spending thing for the whole season, because it is really challenging and a fun challenge. And I'd suggest anybody trying it that way, just like 1 or 2 times. See, breathing like crazy. But then I changed my process, and so I talk about this again in the capsule class in the planning part. When you plan really well for your next capsule, it makes it a lot easier to budget items, and then it makes it a lot easier to manage your budget and then buy the appropriate things. So instead of giving myself like a week or 2 to buy the items that I needed for my upcoming capsule, I purchase throughout the season, or I'm like sourcing throughout the season. And if I don't find it by the end of the season, that's okay. I just move on to the next season, but make like a note. Again, all this stuff is in way more detail in my capsule course. This is really embarrassing, but literally holding the camera up like that like got me a little out of breath, and I got a little sweaty wearing my coat, or my whatever that's called, cardigan thing. So I'm in a tank top or t-shirt now. Oh God. All right, question number 4. Do you ever get sick of wearing the same things over and over? Yes. I think capsule burnout is totally a thing that happens. I guess the best way to kind of get through that is to almost lean into it in a sense of, why am I bored with this? Why don't I feel inspired by my closet anymore? And kind of take a new look at your closet. So what I think happens to a lot of people when they start the capsule process is they buy a ton of basics because they think that is the only thing that's going to get you through having such a small wardrobe for, you know, like 3 months or something like that. Instead, what you want to do is have a mix of basics, key pieces, and statement pieces. There's a really awesome book out there called The Curated Closet that I would highly recommend anybody who's thinking of starting a capsule to read alongside my course, of course. That book, really easy, great read, helped me kind of become a more concise shopper and really evaluate my personal style through the capsule method. But I think a lot of times people just buy too many basic items and don't get enough pieces for their personal style. Question number 5. What is your process like when you're transitioning between seasons, i.e. winter to spring? Do you already have your spring capsule put together and then slowly put away winter wear the warmer the weather gets? Kind of. So I think this will vary for people who live in different climates. Obviously, I live in Minnesota, commonly referred to as Minnesota. It's winter right now, and we have 4 very distinct different seasons. So my weather goes from like -20, like this last week it was like -25 wind chill, to in the summers I have like almost 100 like humidity temperature Fahrenheit. Like super hot, humid summers that generally they're probably more in like the 80s, but we'll have like 90s that feel like literally 100 degrees. So I have a pretty big wardrobe because I have to cover all of those seasons throughout a given year. I feel like in my video where I talked about how I stored my capsule, a little bit of haters who are like, you have a lot of stuff. And it's true, I do have more stuff than maybe your traditional capsule person who lives in California or Texas, or like, you know, kind of southern states that don't have the same change in seasons. And they don't need as many different pieces that way to get them through a season, because, you know, they can maybe layer up a bit more and they just need a few pieces to kind of take their whole wardrobe into like the winter season. Where I honestly need like a whole new set of tops for the winter season. Most of what's in my summer capsule never sees the light of day in winter, and vice versa, because it's just so different in seasons. That being said, I don't necessarily have a hard date where I will change over my capsules. It's really, really weather dependent because, like I said, I have very active weather here in Minnesota. So I kind of will slowly do it over like a week or two. And then you kind of hit a point in the weather where you're like, okay, we're not going to get any random snow anymore in the springtime. I'm going to take a hard look at my capsule and really kind of flush out any of the leftover winter pieces and make sure I have the right things going forward for the spring season. So there's kind of like a fluttery 1 or 2 week transitional period I usually find, and then I take like one day, usually it's on like a Sunday or something like that, and I take a hard look at my wardrobe and really edit it down and create the capsule for that season. Next question, what do you do with the pieces not in the current capsule? Hold on to them until the next season. What if I want to wear something I have that's not included in the current capsule? So I store my off-season clothes in a separate closet. We have really small closets here in our house. We have like a 1950s home. And then I also have a bin under my bed where I will store things that don't get hung up. And I have a video where I go through how I store my whole wardrobe, so I'll have that linked in this video as well. And you can take a more in-depth look at how I store my off-season clothes or like store my capsule. I'm not super strict when it comes to my capsules, in the sense that if there is something that I'm like, oh shoot, I really should have included that in my current capsule, but I didn't, and it's in my like off-season section or closet or whatnot, I'll just pull it into my regular capsule or like current capsule and integrate it, and then maybe make a note. Did I actually end up really wearing that? Or did I think I really wanted to wear that and then I didn't actually wear that? I think it's, you know, keeping it flexible and not having super strict guidelines is, I think, makes this whole capsule process a lot more enjoyable. I think when it gets too rigid and too stiff, you can get burned out really easily, and that's not fun. And then you kind of like lose the whole motivation and steam behind the whole capsule process, which is so worth doing in all, you know, in like a whole year, so you hit all of the seasons where you live. Because honestly, now coming out the other side, it is so worth the like sacrifice and kind of struggle, a capsule struggle at the end, because you just, I don't know, you have a new perspective of your closet and shopping, and I think you have like a new perspective of yourself and your personal style, and all that comes with doing the whole capsule experience is incredibly rewarding at the end. And I find that it actually has really kind of trickled into other places in my life, like buying home decor, things in my kitchen. It's amazing, this whole simplifying my wardrobe, how it has really kind of settled into other parts of my life, which is really cool. Last question. How would you go about making a seasonless capsule wardrobe, aka a year-round wardrobe? I think this goes back to those key pieces that I talked about, creating a really good set of key pieces, which will come from you learning your personal style and what looks good on you, what you like to wear, you know, fabrics, textures, colors, things like that, everything. Creating a good bulk of your wardrobe to have these key pieces that reflect your personal style will go a very long way in making a year-round wardrobe. For me, a year-round wardrobe just isn't going to be something that's going to work, because like I said, I have really different seasons. But I think if you lived in, you know, climates that have a relatively consistent season, like California, or like especially Southern California, you could definitely do a year-round capsule and then maybe switch out like the statement pieces here and there. And the statement pieces would maybe more transition through the seasons with you. You know, if you wanted to add more like winter items, you could add like, you know, even just like hats and change up your shoes, make a huge difference to an outfit that you can wear year-round that's kind of like simple, classic, your personal style. Change the, you know, shoe to something that's closed toe with a cute hat and maybe a light coat, and layer things together to get that more wintry look. So I think a lot of times to make a year-round capsule, you can play around with your accessories, and layering really helps to kind of create a year-round capsule. But for me, a year-round capsule just isn't really in the cards. It's just not going to work. Things that I wear in the summer will definitely, I'll freeze my butt off in the winter here, and they just aren't practical. They don't make sense for me. So if you can do it year-round, I mean, that's awesome. More power to you. You probably would save more money than I would, because I feel like I maybe spend a bit more because I have such variety in seasons in my capsule. But yeah, I think it just comes back to creating a good set of key pieces and basics that will last you year-round, essentially. I really can't believe how like out of breath I got in making this video. That is so funny, but I don't know, pregnant people say that it happens, and it obviously does. I'm 24 weeks now, almost 25 weeks, which is crazy. It's like flying by. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the answers to the 7 questions that I picked from your guys' questions on Instagram. If you aren't already following me on Instagram, please go give it a follow, and then you can participate in the next 7 questions series next month. Also, I would love if you took a look at my capsule wardrobe class, and if you're interested in signing up, I will have the link to that below, as well as that discount code that I was talking about. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I'm actually, right after this, going to make a video about clearing out my closet, because I found out a couple of months ago I was pregnant, and then kind of just like neglected my closet as my stomach grew, and I tried to figure out what the heck do I wear now. And it's gotten a little out of like control in the sense that I haven't really like weeded through it again, and I feel like my style's changed slightly, so it needs some tweaking. Anyways, I'm gonna film a video about that, and it might be really long and lengthy, but if you're into that thing, watching someone clean out their closet, stay tuned. That'll be the next one. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend, or day, or night, or morning, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time. Bye.